Peace. What is up, y'all? It is Phil James, and I am coming back to you yet again with another video. Today is Saturday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 2018. I don't really care about Cinco de Mayo. I'm not a drinker, so no care, no concern. Don't really, doesn't faze me. I don't care. Just another day. But anyways, I'm going to point out a couple, funny things here that is said on two mainstream sources, and show the contradictions and just the downright ridiculousness, and just how ridiculous it is that the sleeping masses don't believe us still, or still can't comprehend what we talk about. So go ahead and pay very close attention to what this video you're about to watch says.
25 miles east of the volcano, at least 2 houses were on fire, and drone footage shows a red line of lava snaking through trees several miles away.
Real quickly, I'm sorry, I forgot to say, this is footage of the Hawaiian volcano I just made a video about yesterday, I do believe, yes. This is that volcano and how it's splitting the ground. As you can tell here in the background, it's snaking through the forest like they just said in this article, or this story. So the lava is literally breaking the ground apart, separating it, and then snaking or slivering through woods and houses and everywhere else. And it's just a straight line, an open line of lava. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's very strange looking. But I wanted to make sure you knew where this is taking place and what's going on. So that's what I'm showing you. But it's not a video about the cracks. So listen to what they say here in about 1 minute at the most. It'll be about a minute-long segment. Go ahead and listen closely, because what they say here is absolutely ridiculous, because it's so just like contradicting in a sense. So go ahead and listen.
Time-lapse video shows the continuous flow of lava deep inside Kilauea. Residents on the Big Island are now being warned about exposure to high levels of sulfur dioxide from the lava, a gas that can cause intense coughing and burning throats.
Did you hear that? Residents are now being warned about a dangerous gas called sulfur dioxide, a gas that is known to cause a burning nose, burning throat, and coughing and wheezing, and all kinds of other symptoms, and burning eyes. Sulfur dioxide is known to cause that, and it comes out of these volcanoes, right? Well, what do they always say in solar geoengineering, or solar radiation management, or stratospheric aerosol injection type agendas? They have to mimic a volcano by spraying sulfur dioxide, the very same gas that the very same media is calling dangerous, and talks about how this gas is poisonous and toxic and literally hurts human beings and causes all sorts of irritation. So they even continue on here about how dangerous this sulfur dioxide is. So go ahead and pay attention.
Volcano expert Paul Davis says the gas occurs during the melting process.
It's sort of like you've injected ammonia into into your nose, into your breathing area, into your throat.
Hawaii has 5 active volcanoes, but Kilauea has been in a constant state of eruption since 1983.
Now, did you hear that? That man just described the sulfur dioxide as feeling like ammonia being sprayed in your nostrils and throat and eyes. Ammonia, or urine, or, a part of urine, I guess I should say. But you know what I mean? So this is clearly not a good gas. This is clearly toxic, and it clearly will cause problems to all living organisms on Earth. below the gas or the particles being sprayed, the compounds being sprayed. Sulfur dioxide is not good, but they want to use it to mimic volcanoes. You know what I mean? So, if you don't know what channel this is that we was just watching this volcano video on, this is Omega Watchman. I will leave a link in the description. If you are not subbed, you need to, because this channel is awesome. So go ahead and sub to Omega Watchman, or at least go check out the channel if you have not. Give me 1 second. Be right back. Sorry, y'all. I'm back. Was doing a little bit of work stuff. But anyways, yeah. You don't believe me that sulfur dioxide is a toxic, not good gas, not good particle, not good chemical to be breathing, not good compound to be breathing, whatever you want to call it. You don't believe it? Let me show you. All right, look at what we have here. An article from no other than Science Daily. Now, I just did a video and it was called Ozone Ozone Healing Aerosol Spray and Geoengineering Proof. That video I made, they said they had absolute proof of chemtrails because they had developed an aerosol compound that heals the ozone. That's what was stated in that article. Go check out that video if you have not, because then you'll understand what I'm saying. This will be the second part of that video, because in that video I also explained that by saying that, you know, they can increase the amount of chemtrails or geoengineering and whatnot that they spray, and then the masses, even if they do notice, you know, the powers that be came out and said 2018 will be the year, so then they just say, yeah, well, we already told you, and then they carry on and pick it up even more, spray even worse stuff, still blame it on climate change and global warming, and say they have to, and they continue. So anyways, this will be kind of the second part. Just watch that video, you'll understand. So, in this article, as you can tell, climate engineering, once started, would have severe impacts if stopped. You don't say. Well, guess what? My thought on that statement, that article title, that little sentence there, my thought would be climate engineering, once started, would have severe impacts. Just cut the if stopped off, because clearly introducing something that in the past video the media did just describe as ammonia being sprayed in your nostrils, throat, mouth, eyes, you know, that gas or that chemical, sulfur dioxide. Yeah, they just described it in that last video, how bad it was and how painful and irritating it is for you as a human to breathe. Well, guess what? They want to mimic that by spraying it into the atmosphere. How much sense does that make, right? That's crazy. They want to spray that stuff all day long and reflect the sunlight you and I need to survive back away from the earth, back out into space. They'll have you think. So, wow, right? That sounds like some sci-fi craziness, but it's an absolute fact. And right here is proof. Every other video I've made on this very same topic called geoengineering, there's proof. There's patents. There is all of it. They have added new clouds to the cloud atlas that were, you know, never known as real clouds, that are now considered real clouds, you know, formed in nature, when in all reality they're not natural clouds at all. They're clouds that are caused strictly by geoengineering type programs and weather modification type programs. So every bit of what they do, they have disinformation and disinfo keyboard warriors to go out and slander and disinfo on. You know what I mean? And that's an absolute fact. We watch what they do for their slip-ups and everything else so we can expose it. Well, they watch us and then infiltrate our circles the same way we try to do to them. You know, they're just as savvy as all of us conspiracy theorists or truth seekers. You know, they're just as scandalous in regards to trying to, you know, spread false info and fake disinfo as the government is. You know what I mean? They're just as bad. They're just as scandalous. So, you know, they're all for it. They watch, we watch. Well, anyways, as you can tell, like I said, they do want to say, they say all the time that they want to mimic a volcano. So, facing a climate crisis, we may someday spray sulfur dioxide into the upper atmosphere to form a cloud that cools the earth, but suddenly stopping. Sorry, I'm trying to drive and do all kinds of stuff at once, and it's causing all kinds of problems. I apologize. All right, but suddenly stopping the spraying would have a severe global impact on animals and plants, according to the first study on the potential biological impacts of geoengineering or climate intervention. Now, that's the first study, really? Is it? Is it? Because that doesn't make much sense. Because you guys have been seeding clouds and cutting clouds and spraying dried ice and silver iodide and all kinds of things into clouds and the atmosphere to cause all kinds of crazy, sinister side effects that you now know to be fact. You also have been doing this for many years. You know, GE started back in the day and was capable of making a hurricane change its course and then slam into Savannah, Georgia. And that was back, I do believe, in the early 1900s, like 1940s, you know, early, like the first half of 1900s, so 1940s. Yeah, and that was GE. And they're still the big time players in the world. So what's that mean to you, you know? But, all right, back to it. As you can see, they're talking about how they want to spray sulfur dioxide and how that would reflect sunlight and would copy the idea of what's called volcanic winter. And that's when the volcano erupts, all that smoke and ash gets so high, you know, miles up into the atmosphere, so high that it gets stuck up there for such an amount of time that it just reflects sunlight away from the earth. And due to so much of the earth being shaded at all times due to the ash and smoke, the earth kind of goes into an ashy type cold volcanic winter, in other words, you know what I mean? So that's what they're saying they want to kind of replicate by reflecting sunlight. But they want to do it, obviously, in a controlled manner, they claim, and so on and so forth. But as you guys all know, there's more sinister plots and narratives in that agenda, and who even knows what the real reason for half of the shit they do is anyways. But at the same time, In Truth by Grace said something about the word chemtrail, and she slammed it. It's actually in a video she put out about the Kim Lung situation and the Kim Lung doctor, which I firmly agree with her. I am so firmly on her side. And anyways, she says that, you know, oh, how'd she say it? I'm sorry. Hold on. Give me 1 second. She said that, you know, the word chemtrail is one of those words that when you do research and you use the word chemtrail, you're going to get, just keep hitting a brick wall, in other words, right? And why is that? Well, because that word is kind of a word to disinfo people and screw people that are trying to spread the truth over. You know what I mean? It's one of those words. But if you use the academic words like stratospheric aerosol injection, geoengineering, solar radiation management, or, you know, any of those, solar shield, if you use those words when you research these topics, guess what? You will pull up thousands upon thousands upon thousands of patents and lists and documented experiments and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's absolute fact that it's happening. But all right, Phil James, I'm gonna cut this video now. It's kind of on the longer side. If you made it this far, I appreciate it, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Phil James, I'm out, y'all. Be sure to like, share, sub. Peace.